You are not poor. You are programmed. How the financial system creates debt slaves and why. Introduction. Some breadcrumbs lead to truth. Others lead you straight into the cage. Choose wisely. This isn't just a reveal. It's a breadcrumb trail through the financial illusion. Some follow the system. I follow Gretel. Which trail will you take? Hi, my name is Vika, and you're watching Breadcrumbs Finance, the channel where we follow the breadcrumbs to expose the financial illusion of the out. Today, I'll tell you something that might change the way you see the world. You are not poor, you are programmed. This video is not about complaining, and it's not a motivational fluff. It's a financial breakdown and a revelation. We will explore how the system works, why we were never taught the important things, who profits from it, and how to get out. You think you have many problems? No. You have an information problem, not money problem. Stay with me till the end, because I'm not just telling you how we're programmed. I'm showing you exactly who programmed us. Ready? Then follow the breadcrumbs. Part 1. The financial matrix. Who built it? Money is not gold. It's not the dollar. It's not even crypto. Money is a control tool. The way you think about money, it was installed in you. In childhood, in school, in advertising. Once upon a time, money was backed by gold. Today, it is backed by nothing. But you still work for pieces of paper with these printed numbers. Who creates money? Central banks. Who owns the central banks? Not you, not me. They say inflation. What it really means, we printed more money, your savings are now worth less. Every system from the dollar to the euro is a pyramid, and you are at the very bottom. And who is at the top? The ones who print the money, the ones who decide how much your food costs, the ones who pay your salary. And then they take it right back through taxes, interests, and debt. This is not a conspiracy. It is a structure. And it works as long as you don't see it. But you're watching this video, which means you have already started to see. Chapter 2. Financial education is obedience training. They tell you that financial education is a key to freedom, but they don't tell you what kind of freedom or whose definition of it you're following. In reality, financial education is obedience training. It does not teach you how to build power. It teaches you how to behave within the system designed to use you. They want you to learn how to follow instructions, not how to question the instructions themselves. Think about it. You memorize terms like compound interests and risk diversification, but do they teach you how money is created? Do they explain why the wealth gap keeps growing no matter how educated society becomes? No, because the point is not understanding, the point is compliance. The more diplomas you collect, the more you believe you earned your seat at the table. But the table was already set, and you're there to serve, not to eat. Most financial degrees do not create creators. They create excellent employees, loyal investors, and obedient taxpayers. You are trained to worship stability, to fear risks, to avoid failure. But what is risk really? It is just the edge of the system, the boundary of their control. They tell you that education opens doors, but most doors are just more polished cages. Ask yourself, why is financial literacy always about budgeting, credit scores, and saving cents, but never about wealth transfer, offshore structure, or how the elite operate in reality? Because they don't want equality. They want efficiency. You are not being educated. You are being formatted, like a software installation, plugged into the system, updated with the latest version of compliant thinking. And if you glitch, if you ask the wrong questions, you are flagged, you are punished, you are removed from the program. Financial education today is not about mastery, it's about taming. It's not a ladder, it's a leash. So before you chase the next certification, the next MBA, the next online financial guru, ask yourself, who does this training serve? And who does it tame? Chapter 3. Debt as a modern form of slavery. They don't need chains anymore. They don't need whips. They don't need fences. They have debt. Debt is elegant slavery. You volunteer, you sign the papers, you even say thank you. It starts early. Student loans, credit cards, a car you can't afford, an apartment that eats half of your income, eventually the ultimate trap, a mortgage. Mortgage. From the French, meaning death pledge. You are literally committing to pay until you die. The modern system does not want you free. It wants you productive and afraid. Afraid to lose your job. Afraid to miss a payment. Afraid to walk away. Debt keeps you available, controllable, predictable. It's not just money you owe. It's your time, energy, your future. Because every dollar of debt is a claim on you tomorrow. You are not living your life. You are renting it. And the landlord, they don't care about you. They care about your compliance. The system creates those who manage debt well. But what does it even mean? It means you stay inside the cage. You don't shake the bars. You smile while they tighten the collar. Financial freedom is not about earning more. It's about not owing. Because the moment you don't owe them, they lose power over you. That is why the system pushes credit scores, not cash flows, loans, not ownership, consumer dreams, not sovereignty. Debt is not an accident, it's a design. And most people, they don't even see the cage. They decorate it. They compete inside it. They even raise their children in it. But once you see it, once you recognize the bars, you can decide. Will I stay here, smiling in my chains, or will I walk away, even if it means walking alone? Because the truth is simple. You can't be free if you are owned. Chapter 4. Consumerism means control. They don't just sell you products. They sell you the identity. You are not buying shoes. You are buying status. You are not buying skincare. You are buying the illusion of the youth. You are not buying a car. You are buying attention. They keep you chasing things because chasing things keep you distracted. It keeps you obedient. Every ad you see is a message. You are not enough, but you could be if only you buy this. The system is not built on production. It's built on consumption. You are not a citizen. You are a target audience. They want you scrolling. They want you swiping. They want you comparing yourself to people they paid to manipulate you. Because an insecure person is the best customer. Insecurity drives spending, and spending fuels the machine. Look at the cycles. Buy, feel good, feel empty, buy again. Work to buy to feel to forget, repeat. And what's the cost of it? Not just your money, it's your time, your energy, your focus, your clarity. You could be building a life, but you're trapped building a wardrobe. You could be creating value, but you're stuck creating your image. You decorate the cage because they convinced you the cage is freedom. And the most dangerous part, you believe in it. You believe the bag makes you important. The brand makes you worthy. The vacation makes you happy. But no product can fix a programmed find. You decorate the cage because they convinced you the cage is freedom. And the most dangerous part, you believe in it. You believe the bag makes you important. The brand makes you worthy. The vacation makes you happy. But no product can fix a programmed mind. And here is the truth. They will never advertise. If you stopped consuming, they would lose control. Minimalism isn't aesthetic. It is rebellion. International spending is not budgeting. It's resistance. Choosing not to buy is choosing not to be manipulated. And the moment we no longer need to prove anything, you become dangerous to the system. You stop being a consumer. You become a sovereign. Chapter 5. How to exit the script. First, you have to sit, to see the script, the one they wrote for you before you were even born. Go to school, get the degree, get the job, get the house, get the debt, get the burnout, then retire, then die. It's not a life, it's a loop. a pre-written narrative with zero authorship. And every part of it is monetized, even your dreams. And here is the truth. You can exit, not by running away, but waking up. Ask yourself, what if I don't want this life? What if success is not what they told me? What if freedom is not about money, but about detachment? The script collapses the moment you stop playing your part. Unsubscribe from the roles, dismantle the labels, erase the timelines they gave you. You don't owe anyone your participation. You don't have to chase what doesn't feel right. You don't have to wear their mask. You are worse. It's not tied to your productivity. Your value is not your resume. Your soul is not for sale. And you don't need permission to change everything. Exit the job, exit the relationship, exit the country, exit the version of you that was never really you. This isn't just quitting. This is reclaiming your narrative, reclaiming your energy, reclaiming your mind. They trained you to be a financial instrument, but you are not an asset. You are consciousness, and consciousness does not obey. So, when the world tells you this is just how things are, smile, because that's the moment you know you have left the script. You are writing your own. And some breadcrumbs. They don't lead back to the cage. They lead home. Chapter 6. The financial maze is not broken. It was built this way. Let me tell you a secret that no one in financial education wants you to hear. The system is not broken. It's not a series of unfortunate events. It's not a product of human error or market circles or a bad government. It's working exactly as intended. Debt, inflation, wage slavery, housing unaffordability, artificial growth, engineered crisis. These are not bugs in the system. They are features. They were coded in intentionally, decades ago, perhaps centuries. The financial maze you were born into is a designed environment, a synthetic habitat, built not for your freedom, but for your obedience. They told you that if you study hard, work harder, save money, buy a house, invest in stocks, and play the game, you will make it out. But what if the game was not designed to be winnable? What if every winning move they handed you, the mortgage, the pension plan, the student loan, it was just another wall in the maze? Think about it. How can a game be fair if those who created the rules, they all profit from you every time, from every your move? And that's the essence of modern finance. Not empowerment, but manipulation. They created this maze, and now they sell you maps that only lead you in circles. And when you question it, Even for a second, the system turns out it's the fan boss. You're just lazy, you are not educated enough, you just need to work harder. You are not budgeting properly. You need more financial literacy. Do you see the gaslighting? It's not about your lack of discipline. It's about their architecture of deception. The truth is, the maze was never yours to solve. It was theirs to profit from. And the moment you realize that, something breaks. Not in you, in the illusion. Let's talk about the people who profit from this structure, the elite, the financial architects, the ones who built the cages and then call them cities. They don't live in the same maze as you. They live above it. They own the walls. They don't buy houses. They buy housing markets. They don't invest in stocks. They buy the algorithm that control them. They don't earn wages. They print capital. And while you're out, they're chasing promotions inside the hustles. They're repositioning the walls of the maze to make sure your efforts only benefit them. That is not a conspiracy theory, it's economic geometry. But here is what they fear: awareness. They fear a generation that stops running and starts climbing out of the maze, looking at it from above, understanding its shape, and mapping a new way out, not just for themselves, but for everyone watching. Because once you see the maze, you can stop running. And once you stop running, you can start building. Building outside of it, beyond it, in spaces where freedom is not granted but claimed. Now, take a breath and ask yourself, are you still trying to win a game that was never yours? Are you still chasing outcomes that were programmed to enslave you? Are you still collecting breadcrumbs inside the maze, when you could be laying down your own trail out of it? Because this isn't just about money, it's about sovereignty. And sovereignty begins when you reject the architecture of obedience. The financial maze is not broken, it was built this way. And now we rebuild it. Chapter 7. Escape is not exit. How the system follows you. Leaving the system is not as simple as quitting your job, moving to another country, or deleting a few apps. That is escape. But escape is not the same as exit, because the system is not just outside of you, it's inside, in your habits, your fears, your language, in what you believe you deserve, in what you have normalized. They trained you to carry the system with you, even when you think you have left it. You can move to Bali, start freelancing, work online, be free, but still check your bank account 5 times a day. Still tire your worse to help productive. You were this week. still crave permission, still compare, still hustle for external validation. They taught you how to build your own cage and then decorate it with plants and sunsets and freedom hashtags. And the scariest part, you might not even realize it. So, what does a real exit look like? It starts with untangling your mind from the matrix of control. It starts with rewriting your definitions of success, of value, of time, of self-worth, of reality. Real exit is not a flight from the world. It is a dismantling of the world inside you that was installed by others, because you can't truly leave the system if you still think like it. They gave you templates: job, salary, mortgage, retirement. But then they also gave you alternative templates: side hustle, travel vlog, dropshipping, crypto brands. Different costumes, the same matrix. That is not freedom. That is rebranded slavery. Real freedom is not just financial. It is mental, energetic, existential. It is waking up one day and realizing you are no longer negotiating with the system. You are not asking it for crumbs. You are not playing its game. You are building your own table, and you decide who gets to sit there. This chapter is not a call to rebellion. It's a call to clarity, because clarity is dangerous to any system built on illusion. When you see how deep the program runs and how softly it disguises our choice, you begin to operate from a different frequency. A frequency that is not trapped into a survival mode. A frequency that doesn't ask, what do I get? But what do I create? That's when you stop being a consumer, but you start to be a creator of worlds. Here is a paradox. You don't leave the system by running from it. You live by seeing through it and then watching it dissolve. When you stop feeding it your fear, when you stop giving it your time, your clicks, your identity, it loses power. Not immediately, but moment by moment, the code collapses. Not for everyone, but for you, and that's enough. Because when one person exits truly, not physically, but energetically, they become a signal, a lighthouse, a breadcrumb. Some people are waiting for collapse, others are becoming the alternative. Some are hoping the system breaks, others are building something beyond it. Where are you? Are you escaping, or are you exiting? Chapter 8: Reality Breadcrumbs. How they keep you trapped in the surface world. Not all the breadcrumbs lead to truth. Some of them lead to circles. Some lead straight back to the cage, disguised as discovery. We were trained to follow signs, to look for external validation. to ask, what should I do next?
Okay. And then
Instead of what is trying to launch from within me. That's how they trap you into the surface world. The surface world is made of headlines, hashtags, breaking news, dopamine loops. It's designed to keep you stimulated but not awakened, busy but not present, informed but never wise. They feed you breadcrumbs on purpose. They want you chasing, guessing, clicking. Because if you stop to question, really question, the illusion dissolves. And illusions require your participation to exist. Here is how they do it. They give you fake choices and tell you it's freedom. Coke or Pepsi, red or blue, career A or career B, burnout or boredom. They don't care what you pick, as long as you keep playing. The real prison is not the walls, it's the assumption that the menu they gave you is the only menu that exists. But what if the real meal was never on the menu? You are not supposed to ask questions like, why do we all follow the same calendar? Why do we value money over time? Why do we worship for the productivity and sacrifice our intuition? Why do we treat life like a transaction? You are supposed to stay in your lane. Scroll, swipe, work, pay. And some of us, we feel the glitch. We feel that the breadcrumbs are looped, that we're walking in circles, that something does not end up. That is the moment you wake up. When I started waking up, I thought I was crazy. I thought, how can everyone be okay with this? How can I trust a system based on doubt, fear, and dissatisfaction, and people call it life? But then I realized most people are not okay. They're just exhausted, too tired to question, too scared to move. So I started to move out slowly, first mentally, then physically, from Russia to Spain to Monaco to Dubai. The way to escape is to observe, to decode, to speak. And now I speak to you, not as an expert, but as a breadcrumb, a signal. Because if you are followed this path, you have probably felt it too, the illusion cracking, the script unraveling, the surface fading. What happens next is up to you. You can go back to the loop, or you can go deeper. You can scroll to forget, or you can sit with the discomfort and remember. You can follow their breadcrumbs, or start living your own, because the real trail is not outside of you. It is encoded in your questions. It is buried under your programming. It is waiting behind the silence. Some people wait for signs, others become one. Want to go deeper? The next chapter is for those who stopped mistaking noise for knowledge, and started hearing the whisper that needs the algorithm. Chapter 9. Exiting the financial illusion, not a place, but a pattern. Leaving the system is not a plane ticket. It's not a country. It's not crypto. It is a shift in your internal code. You don't escape the matrix by fighting it. You exit by recognizing where it lives inside you. The part of you that still craves approval. The part that fears not having enough. The part that believes the success means suffering first. There is where the illusion hides, not in Wall Street, not in the IMF, but in your nerve system. They programmed us to believe that we have to earn our worth. The value comes from struggle, that we have to pay our dues before we can live. But let me tell you, that is the debt script token. The truth is, you were never in debt to the world. The world was in debt to your awareness. The first step out is noticing the pattern. Where does your energy go every day? What do you chase? What do you fear? What do you sacrifice to feel secure? Because the more secure you try to be within the system, the more attracted you become by it. Security becomes the new cage. Comfort becomes the leash. When I was working in the Chamber of Commerce, when I was surrounded by power, money, by influence, I saw it. They are not free. They are bounded by even more invisible chains. Appearances, status games, luxury that owns you back. I realized I did not want that kind of success. I wanted sovereignty. That is why I left. Not with rage, not with fear, but with clarity. I did not need to burn it all down. I just had it to step aside and stop feeding it. Some of you watching this, you are already halfway out. You don't believe the news anymore. You don't trust the institutions. Your questions are narratives, but you are still afraid to walk away. Let me tell you, I was too, until I realized the door was never locked. It was just painted to look like a wall. So what now? Now we build, but not with bricks, with discernment, with attention, with energy that is no longer leaking into the illusion. We build new scripts, new channels, new codes. We stop asking for permission and start leaving breadcrumbs for those who will come after. Because maybe you are not meant to be understood by the system. Maybe you are meant to decode it, to map it, to outgrow it, not to rebel, but to transcend. You have made it this far. You have followed the signal. You have heard something in my voice that matches something in your bones. This is not the end. This is your checkpoint. Breathe, reset, decide. The next breadcrumb is already there. and it's waiting for you to notice. Are you ready? Chapter 10. Money does not free you, it just gives you a softer cage. So let's talk about freedom. People think money brings freedom, but money does not free you, it just gives you a softer cage. Here in Monaco, the yachts, the Ferraris, the champagne balconies, it all looks like freedom, but most of it is just a performance, scripted, staged, polished, a simulation of choice. And here are the truths. Most people do not actually want to be rich. They just want to stop being afraid. Afraid of not having enough, afraid of missing bills, afraid of being less than everyone else. That is the real emotion behind every how to get rich Google search. Not just an ambition. Fear. And the system knows it. So it sells your life in exchange of obedience. You take the job, you take the loan, you take the subscription plan on your own life. You are not building wealth, you are building calm, and even that comes with interest. And what is worse is that most people think this is normal, that you are supposed to suffer first, that you need to prove your worth before you can deserve peace. But who told you that? Who convinced you that you must earn your way of anxiety? It's all programming. Modern slavery wears a suit and has a 30-year plan. It looks respectable, but it kills your fire. Here is a secret they don't want you to know. You don't need millions to be free. You just need to stop obeying the model. Freedom does not begin with more money. It begins with less fear. Because once you stop fearing money, money stops controlling you. And the moment you realize that, you stop chasing and you start choosing. And that is where the power begins. Not in the digits, not in the statics, but in the detachment. Now let's go to chapter 11. Mortgage is a beautiful word for a slow death. Let me tell you a word, mortgage. Sounds elegant, right? Like adulthood, stability, maturity. But do you know where it comes from? It's French. Mort means death. Gage means pledge. So literally, a death pledge. You sign a contract that says, I promise to stay useful, I promise to keep working, I promise to not get sick, not go wild, not question, for 30 years. And they call that financial responsibility. You don't own that house. The bank owns your time, your nerve system, your weekends, your late nights, and early hours. And first of all, you believe this is normal. You believe you are winning. Because they told you you are not like the others. You are a homeowner now. But what you really are is a product with a long-term profitability. Mortgage is not a gift, it's a leash with marble floors and Pinterest lightning. It's the system saying, we will give you the illusion of control as long as you stay predictable. And here is the trick. The minute you stop paying, the house is not yours anymore. So when did you actually own? The death pledge was never about real estate. It was about obedience. They don't need to lock you in chains. They will just lock you in contracts. Chapter 12. Financial education is behavioral conditioning. They love to talk about financial education. They tell you it's a way out. They say if only people knew more about money, they would not be poor. But let me ask you this. What exactly are you being taught? How to save 10%? How to cut back on less? How to build a spreadsheet that spreads your misery? That is not power. That's obedience and this bliss. Because real financial education would teach you how the system works, not how to be a better participant in it. You are not being educated, you are being conditioned. You are being told how to survive inside the system that was never built for you. A system where ownership is rare and control is always elsewhere. A system that needs you're productive but never powerful. That is why they teach budgeting before they teach capital, saving before scaling, debt management before wealth creation. They want you disciplined, not dangerous. Look at school. Where was the class on equity? Where was a course on passive cash flow? Where was a lesson how fair it works? How inflation is your future? How central banks play God? It was not there. And it never will be. Because the purpose of public education was never to create free minds. It was to manufacture compliant citizens. People who do not question, people who believe in the ladder, people who call it freedom when they are given a slightly longer leash. They call it financial literacy, but it is not literacy, it's taming. Because you can train a dog to manage his food bowl, but that does not mean the dog is free. You are taught to accept crumbs, to optimize scarcity, to be proud of surviving. And then they clap for you when you pay off your student loans. As if that's a goal. As if freedom is the absence of debt, not the presence of sovereignty. Let me say this clearly. If the only thing financial education does is teach you how to not drown, it's not education, it's life support. If you are still chained to wages, still afraid to rest, still dependent on a paycheck that disappears the moment you speak too loudly, you are not financially educated. You are just financially tranquilized. They don't want thinkers. They want calculators, quite efficient, predictable. They will let you learn how to invest $200 a month into an index fund. They will let you learn how to retire by 65. They will let you imagine a soft landing. But what they will never teach you is how to walk away from the entire script. And when you try, they will say, you are irresponsible. They will say you are reckless. They will call you crazy for objecting the program that was never written in your favor. But here is the truth. The craziest thing you can do is stay in the system, obey all the rules, and still die confused, still die afraid, still die with your dreams locked inside the Google sheet. Want to be financially educated? Then learn who profits from your confusion. Learn who gains when you shrink. Learn how the system keeps you numb when just enough comfort to stop you from waking up. That is real education. And it starts when you stop asking how to save more and start asking who taught you to settle. Chapter 13. They teach you to work, not to own. From the moment you enter school, you are trained to be useful, to show up on time, to sit still, to follow instructions, to finish tasks someone else assigns you. You are not taught to question. You are taught to comply. You are not taught to lead. You are taught to wait. And above all, you are not taught to own. You are taught to serve. Think about it. You learn how to write a resume, how to apply for a job, how to answer questions correctly, how to sell yourself, but never how to sell a product, never how to build equity, never how to create assets that pay you when you are sleeping. They call it preparation for the real world, but the real world is not built on resumes. It is built on ownership. The wealthy do not trade time for money. They trade ownership for freedom. They own businesses. They own property. They own intellectual rights, code, bread, data, licensing. You are taught to own debt, to own a degree that depreciates, to own a car that bleeds money, to own a mortgage, a death pledge that enslaves you for decades. And they dare to call that adulthood. You graduate, you celebrate, you feel proud. But all you have done is walk deeper into the maze, a maze where you work for money. Then give that money for those who own the things you need. You pay rent for a landlord, you pay interest for a bank, you pay taxes for a government that prints money for itself. You pay fees to corporations that use your data and call it convenience. You are the labor, you are the product, you are the profit center. But you don't see it because you have been trained to value stability over serenity, security over strategy, good enough over mine. And when someone tells you, build something, own something, you say, I don't know how. Of course you don't. No one taught you. That was the whole point. Because if you learn to own, you stop needing them. Here is the core truth. The system does not run on workers. It runs on workers who never realized they were supposed to be owners. It runs on people who feel lucky to be hired instead of dangerous enough to hire others. It runs on people who dream of retirement instead of generational freedom. It runs on people who think money is earned with effort, not strategy, leverage, positioning, and vision. So next time they praise you for your hard work, remember this: effort without ownership is just energetic slavery. And no matter how much you grind, if you don't own anything, you are still on the treadmill. Chapter 14. Why the elite never hustle. Let me tell you something strange. The people who talk the most about hustle are almost never rich. It's always work harder, wake up at 5 a.m., no days off, work like hell, and maybe one day you will make it. And here is what no one says: the elite don't hustle. The elite don't post motivational quotes. The elite don't brag about being busy because they don't need to. They understand something the rest don't. Leverage beats labor. They don't sell their time. They buy yours. They don't work for money. They make money work for them. They don't ask, how can I do more? They ask, who can do this for me? What system can I build so I never touch this task again? What rules can I write that make others follow? You are taught to hustle. They are taught to position. You are taught to earn. They are taught to own. You are taught to sacrifice your energy. They are taught to scale their influence. You post no sleep, no excuses. They post nothing. Because while you sleep less, they own the platform you post it on. The hustle mindset is a beautiful trap. It keeps you moving. It keeps you exhausted. It keeps you proud of being underpaid. It's a hamster wheel of capitalism, dressed up as ambition. And it's addictive, because every now and then someone breaks through. 1 in a million, and that one becomes a poster child for the dream, while the other 999.999, they all keep grinding in silence. Here is the part they don't want you to figure out. Success is not about effort. It's about access, ownership, information asymmetry, network, timing, proximity to power. And that is exactly what they guard the most. They will sell you courses on hustle. They will sell you planners, coaching, mastermind retreats, 5-step programs, but they will never sell you the real map, because the real map does not scale. It's not for everyone. It's for those who stop asking how to hustle and start asking who writes the rules. So next time someone says you just need to work harder, ask yourself, why do the ones who say that always look tired, and the ones who never say it already own everything? Chapter 15. Why you will never win inside of their casino. Every system that promises you wealth while keeping you inside its rules is a casino, and the house always wins. You might get lucky, you might even have a good run. But eventually, the odds catch up. The rules tighten, the fees increase, the market shifts, the rug is pulled, because the game was never built for you to win. It was built for you to keep playing. They give you just enough to feel hope, just enough dopamine to keep swiping, just enough success stories to keep you chasing, but never enough freedom to walk away. You think you are investing. They call it the free market, but the real power is owning the market, setting the odds, printing the money, controlling the risks, and outsourcing the losses to you. When you play by their rules, you always start with a disadvantage. They own the chips. They designed the table. They reshuffle the cards whenever they like. And you're just grateful to be allowed to sit. You hustle. You work harder. You optimize your strategy. You study the trumps. You try to beat the game. But you forget one thing. No one beats the house. So what do? They glamorize the players who made it. They put them on magazines. They give them podcasts. They turn them into idols. But they never show you the silence, who went broke, who followed the same rules, played the same game, and lost everything. Here is the real rule. If you did not write the game, you are not meant to win it. If you are not the one who profits from the crowd, you are the crowd. If your value depends on your effort, you are a token, not a player. If the game is based on attention and you don't own the platform, you are not monetizing. You are being mined. You think you are being smart by playing carefully, but the smartest move is to build your own table, to stop gambling and start designing, to stop performing and start owning. Because real wealth does not come from playing harder, it comes from walking away and becoming the house. Chapter 16. The High Income Trap. They say, just get a better job, make 6 figures, secure the bag. But what they don't say is this. The high income fast is not freedom. It is a gilded cage. A cage with marble floors, luxury vacations, business class seats, the designer clothes, but still a cage. You work 60 hours a week. You answer mails at dinner. Your time is booked by other people's calendars. Your stress is constant, but your status keeps you quiet. You tell yourself, this is success, but deep down you feel it. The fatigue, the disconnection, the creeping sounds that you're just a more expensive version of the same slave. Because here is the truth. High income comes with high dependence on a boss, on a corporation, on a fragile ladder where one wrong move and it's over. You are not free. You are leveraged. You are not rich. You are rented. Your lifestyle scales with your paycheck, but your freedom never does. You make more, so you spend more. Better car, bigger house, better clothes. You start living for the image, not the experience. And the worst part, you start defending the system that is draining you because it rewards you just enough to feel proud. You think you are ahead, but you are trapped in golden handcuffs. They look shiny, they feel prestigious, but they still keep you stuck. Real freedom is not about how much you earn, it's about how little you need to obey. It's about time ownership, location independence, creative control, emotional bandwidth, mental stillness, things no salary can buy, but all jobs quietly sell. So before you chase that promotion, ask yourself this: are you rising or just climbing deeper into someone else's system? Are you building or just becoming more expensive to maintain? Because even the highest paid prisoner is still not free. Chapter 17. Debt is marked as empowerment. They will never tell you this in schools. They will never say it in the news. But here is the truth. Debt is sold as freedom. But it's the most elegant form of control ever invented. You think you're upgrading your life. You think you are investing in your future. But you are really just being your own leash. You borrow for school, you borrow for a car, you borrow for a home, for a ring, for a business. And every time you sign, they smile and say, "Congratulations." But they are not encouraging you for what you gained. They are congratulating themselves for what they now own you. Because now you can't walk away. You can't quit the job. You can't speak out or slow down or pivot. You owe. And when you owe, you obey. Beware with a nice inspiration. They have turned your dreams into debt. They tell you, don't wait, you deserve it now. Swipe the card, take the loan, you're worth it. But you are not buying freedom. You are buying permission to keep working for someone else for the next 30 years. They package it in shiny wrappers. Student loans are investments. Mortgages are masterstones. Credit is power. And debt? Debt is normal. But none of it is designed to empower you. It's designed to keep you busy. Busy calculating, busy budgeting, busy surviving instead of building. Real power is not in how much you can borrow, it's in how little you need to. Real wealth is not debt disguised as growth. It's freedom from dependency. The system does not collapse when people go broke. It collapses when people stop borrowing. And they know that. That is why they keep you chasing things you can't afford to impress people you don't know with money that was never yours. So if you really want to replan your life, you don't need more credit. You need less compliance. Because the most radical thing you can do in a world addicted to adapt is to owe nothing at all. Chapter 18. Luxury is a new poverty trap. Luxury looks like freedom. It smells like power. It feels like you made it. But that's exactly the trap. Because the moment you start needing it, you are not rich. You are owned. You buy the bag, you book the suit, you drive the car, you sip the champagne. But now you have set a new base life, and the system knows you will do anything to stay there. You won't question the job that burns your soul. You won't walk away from the toxic client. You won't rest, pause, reflect, because you can't afford to. You have built a life that is more expensive to maintain than it is satisfying to live. Here is what they don't tell you. Luxury is not the reward, it's the leash. It's how the system buys your silence, your energy, your creativity, your rebellion. You don't fear poor people, you fear free people. And luxury is how they keep the smartest minds chained to their paycheck by wrapping the cage in velvet. You think you are rising, but you are just upgrading your prison. From economy to business, from rental to mortgage, from Zara to Chanel, from scarcity to performative wealth, but not to freedom. Luxury, have chosen from overflow, is beautiful. Luxury, when used to prove you are enough, is enslavement. If you need the status to feel safe, you are not safe. If you need the price tag to feel worthy, you are still poor. Because the wealth is not about what you have, it's about what you can walk away from. And the person who can walk away from all of it is the only one who is actually rich. Chapter 19. Status replaces soul. They tell you to become someone, to be seen, to be followed, to be admired. And so you start curating, crafting, sharpening the image, perfecting the pose. But something gets lost along the way. You. Because the more they admire the persona, the more you blur the person. You become a mirror, reflecting what others want, but never a window into who you are. You post the wins, you wear the mask, you say the right things, you feed the brand, and it works. You rise, they clap, they want to be you, but inside you feel empty, like a product, like a profile, like a performance you can't exit. That is the price of status. It replaces your soul with your signal. It rewards you for being visible, not for being real. You stop asking what is true. You start asking what sells. You stop asking, what is sacred? You start asking, what's scalable? You stop asking, what's you? You start asking, what's trending? And one day you wake up surrounded by followers and feeling more alone than ever. Here is a real test. If they took away the titles, the likes, the brands, the attention, would anything remain? Would you still matter to yourself? Would your voice still speak, even if no one heard? Would you still create, even if no one clapped? Because if the answer is no, then the status did not elevate you, it erased you. The world does not need more icons. It needs more humans, more truths, more depths, more souls that refuse to sell themselves just to be seen. And if you can walk through this world unbought, unsponsored, unshaken, then you have not lost yourself. You have reclaimed it. Chapter 20. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. They will tell you to seek comfort, to settle, to secure your future, to stop chasing. But they never tell you what it really costs. Comfort is not safety. Comfort is stagnation. It feels good at first. The soft routines, the predictable days, the familiar roles. But slowly, something starts to die. Not your body, not your mind. Your edge. The edge that made you sharp, that made you hungry, that whispered, there is more. Comfort kills that voice. It sedates your instincts. It replaces far from furniture. You stop risking, you stop asking, you stop moving. And the world claps because you look stable. But inside, your soul is screaming for something real. Greatness does not grow in comfort. It grows in friction, in hunger, in the chaos between what is and what could be. Comfort tells you, you have made it, but flow whispers, you are just getting started. You are not born to be domesticated. You are not born for perfect credit, clean clothes, and a quiet retirement. You were born to build, to disrupt, to make something that did not exist before you. So, if it all feels too safe, step out. If the room feels too still, break it. If your life feels too perfect, maybe it's time to burn the script and write your own. You don't need more comfort. You need more truth. And once you choose truth, you won't need the system anymore. You will work different, talk different, live different. Because you will finally know you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to wake up. New videos weekly. Think about it and let's keep walking.